Our ocean innovator today is a head of communications at Coral Gardeners. With her expertise in communications, social media, and community building, she has worked for big companies such as LVMH, TBWA, and Adidas. She decided to leave it all to help what she believes in. Everyone, please welcome Marie-Celine Piednoir, Head of Communications at Coral Gardeners.
Hello everyone, nice meeting you.
Marie-Celine, thank you very much for coming today. What is Coral Gardeners and why was the foundation created?
So Coral Gardener, it's an organization and our first aim is to save the coral reefs. So as you explained, the reefs would die by 2050. So our mission is to raise awareness through social media, communication, so everyone in the world can know what a coral is. Actually, a coral is an animal. And we also have a reef restoration program. So we're here in Moorea in French Polynesia. And every single day we have a reef restoration team that goes into the water to actually replant corals onto the reef.
And can you tell us a little bit more about your actions?
Sure. So we have two main actions. So indeed, we have coral nurseries under the water. So our team is selecting warm, resilient corals, placing them into the nurseries, and then they're going to fragment some pieces of those super corals, and then they will replant those fragments onto the reef thanks to marine cement. So this is the first part. We replant corals into the reef to save the ecosystem. And we are aware that it's not just by doing that we're going to save the reef. So we have a second section, which is raise awareness. So thanks to Instagram, Facebook, our website, ambassadors, media, press, and podcasts like Ocean Innovators, we're trying to raise awareness so people can know how to help to save the reefs all around the world.
That's fascinating. And what are your needs and how can we help you?
So I think like many organizations, we need financements. We have our main way of financing our project is through coral adoption. So it's a super cool concept. You can adopt a coral. So if you go on our website, it's super easy to find. So you select a coral or several. It's 25 euros, so $28. And you can give a name to the coral, and then you will receive an adoption certificate where you have the picture of the coral. Thanks to you, we replanted this one coral onto the reef. You have the geolocalization of the nursery table, and you have the name you gave to the coral. And it's a super good idea for presents, Christmas, birthday, and everything.
That's fantastic. Can you tell us more about the reef restoration program and how do you restore exactly the coral reefs?
Sure. So we have two main techniques. The first one is called fragments of opportunity. So our team, they go on the reef and they collect fragments that got broken by the waves, by the boats, by tourists. So they collect those fragments and they place them onto a nursery. I invite you to check our Instagram. You can have beautiful pictures of the nursery tables. So they place those fragments on the nursery. They wait for the fragments to start growing again. They pick up those fragments and they go on dead bunnies. It's like a dead potato, we call it. And they're going to cement the fragments back onto the reef. So this is the first technique. And the second technique, because we are aware that if there is another bleaching event, those corals may die again. So now we are working on selecting more heat resilient corals that we call super corals. So thanks to monitoring and scientific data, we can spot those maybe super corals that already resisted the past bleaching events. We take those super corals, we put them onto nurseries, and 6 months to 1 year later, once they grow again, those corals we will fragment and replant those super fragments onto the reef. So we just started this technique, and more we're going to go towards only super corals.
And why are coral reefs so important to our ocean ecosystems?
So it's like when we ask people, do we need trees? Everyone is like, for sure we need trees, we need to breathe. But actually corals are also like the trees of the sea. If we don't have corals, we will not have half of the oxygen we breathe, because half of the oxygen we breathe comes from the oceans. And the reefs are like the habitats of thousands of marine species. It's like crazy. So it's like the house, it's the place they eat, it's the place they hide. So without this huge ecosystem, you don't have a lot of marine species, and then lots of other ecosystems will die.
And what are the biggest threats to coral reefs?
So it's global warming. So a coral will die. Actually, if you see a white coral or a brown / deadish coral, those corals are already dead. So if the temperature of the water rises by 1-2 degrees, and unfortunately it's what is happening now, the corals will die. So the main reason why they are disappearing is because of global warming.
That's fascinating. Thank you very much, Marie-Celine. We will finish with a 2-second message you would like to give to our people of action today.
Yes, adopt a coral and help us save the reef.
And there we go. That was Ocean Innovators release number 8, celebrating 10 years to achieve the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Don't forget to press the bell button to subscribe, and we will see you next time.